Okay, this is going to be the conclusion to my Dixie horn installation. As you can see, here is the Craftsman racer. It is sporting a new switch. As you can hear, it now has a Dixie horn. I started this video last weekend, and due to some time constraints and us going away to Niagara Falls, I was unable to get it finished. Also, I changed my mind on the positioning of the horns and the compressor. Initially, the compressor was going to be mounted right back in here, and the horns were going underneath the battery and in this area right here, which I didn't necessarily like that idea. So I was kind of thinking about a better spot to put the horns and compressor. So I grabbed a piece of plywood out of my hoard and I drilled up a bunch of holes and I mounted it right there. All 5 horns are across the front, the compressor is in the back, and all the plumbing is pretty much hidden, and it's all going to the back. Basically you have a line from each horn going through a hole in the plywood and going to the mess behind where everything is. Initially, like I said, I was going to mount it all to the battery tray and put it back in there. It would have worked, but if I was mainly worried about the battery sliding and hitting the horns and damaging them. Also, it would have been a plumbing nightmare, and to access the solenoid or anything else electrical on this tractor, it would have been a lot harder. Also, while I was working on that, I decided to remove the mower engagement handle. It no longer served a purpose, so I got rid of it. Also, it wouldn't go up into the up position anyways because it was hitting the battery tray. So that was a simple fix, but again, this does not have a deck on it. It does not need a mower engagement handle. And in the case of an accident, having that there is more dangerous than not having it there. Initially, I kept it to hang my keys on, but I got a different spot to hang them on. So anyways, here it is. It's all done now, and it's all good and ready to go. I also ran into an issue with the switch that came with it. The one of the terminals on the back stripped out, so I had to go and get a new switch. And not much was open on New Year's Day, so I couldn't really go out and do that. So let's close up the hood. I'll fire it up, and I will do a demonstration of the engine running and the horns. It's nowhere near as loud as with the engine not running. Also, the sound in the compressor is just because it's very cold out here. It's approximately minus 14. With the wind chill, we're hitting the minus 24 or so. So it's not really a nice day. And tomorrow is supposed to be worse. So now with the air horns installed, this thing is pretty much done. There's one other wiring gremlin I want to figure out, which is the headlights, and then I would like to paint this tractor. Also, I want to add tail lights. That's not really a big deal. This is one single wire and a ground. But I want to paint it. It's going Hemi orange and black. Everything that's black right now is staying black. Everything that's green is going Hemi orange. And that's pretty much the way it's going to go. Also, with the wiring gremlin, I think it has something to do with the voltage regulator. I'm getting charging sometimes. I really hope it's not the coil underneath the flywheel, but if it is, it is. I'll change it if I have to. But here's another look at the setup. I'm not too worried about heat. I do got pretty good air gap between the back of the block and the horns. Sorry about the way I'm talking. Like I said, it's pretty cold out here. But everything should be okay. The battery is close, but it should be fine. And to get these horns out, remove the battery tray, remove the base bolts on this side of the dash, these bolts back here. This side will pull out a bit, the other side will pull out a bit. I don't have to unbolt the other side, and the horns will slide out. But that's pretty much it. Dixie horn is now installed on the Craftsman racer. I might include a little bit of the making up of the horn mounts. We'll see. I may or may not. But if I do, it'll be inserted probably at the end of the video. Probably be easier. So I'll talk to them later. Please keep redneck like always, and please try and comment. Okay, I've changed my mind on my setup here from my initial idea about fixed mounting the horns to the actual tractor inside underneath the battery. I've actually mounted them to a board right here, and the air compressor's on the back. I have just recently tested them. Everything works, and I'm about ready to put it all back together. The horns themselves are going to be going right in here. The board is pre-cut to fit in there. Then the battery tray will go back in on top, and it'll be a lot easier to remove if needed. So everything's going to work out that way a lot better. And there's enough clearance between the horn and the actual engine. As far as my measurements were, everything should clear. And then the top of the board will go a little bit higher than the actual battery box, and the battery box will help hold that in, and everything should work out on that. So I'm going to get everything mounted in. Also, I removed the mower engagement handle. When I was initially going to install everything under there, it was in the way. Also, it's in the way of a lot of the wiring anyways, and I don't need it. I did use it kind of to hang my keys off of. When I put the keys in the ignition, I put the clip over that, but I got other spots I can hook them, so it's not a huge deal. So I guess stay tuned. Next time you see this, the horns will be back in, and all the wiring will be finished. All I got left to do is put the horn button in and connect up a ground. So it's pretty simple. So I'll talk